white man that I've worked for. If he's alive today, he's a liberal with a capital L. His name was Gagsteiner. I asked him about some books on the African people in ancient history. And in the language of the South, he let me down slow. I mean, he spoke kindly. He said, you know, John, I'm sorry that you came from a race that's made no history. But if you persevere, if you obey laws and study hard, you make history someday.
When I was growing up, I was taught in American history books that Africa had no history, and neither did I. That I was a savage, about whom the less said the better, who had been saved by Europe and brought to America. And of course, I believed it. I didn't have much choice. Those are the only books there were. Everyone else seemed to agree.
Now, you see how deceptive that is? And nasty? Why are they going around saying that we have no history when they know full well that we had a history? Because they're trying to obscure our history. But why are they trying to do that? It's because we have like a fabulous history, and the Israelites, what we call the Israelites, were in Africa. Specifically, the Mali Empire is the creation of the Israelites. Okay? Now, there's a YouTube channel called Extra Credits. And I put a link down below. Just click it and watch it. It's called the Mali Empire. Now, he inadvertently tells you who King David is, or was. He talks about the formation of the Israelites, and then, of course, you know, you have Goliath, like who Goliath really is, and of course the Philistines, and how Goliath died, like, because it wasn't a slingshot, it was an arrow. It was an arrow. And then eventually, you know, you had Mansa Musa, who is the richest man in the world. He was very wise. He was a great builder. He was very wealthy. Like, it's the same thing. They don't say much about his wife, but obviously he did have a wife, but they don't really talk about that. But that's, you know, the Queen of Sheba. That's the Queen of Sheba. It's in the Bible. Okay, so see, there is actual evidence, like, outside the Bible of King Solomon. Because it's like, well, if this guy was so great, why is he not outside the Bible? But they are. King David is outside the Bible, and King Solomon's outside the Bible. Moses is outside the Bible, because Moses is Abubakari II. Because Abubakari II is the one that left... there was an exodus, so he left a whole bunch of he took a whole bunch of ships, he built a whole bunch of ships, and they left to go to Central America. They went to Central America, and then that's where you found the Olmec heads. Okay, but they're going to say, oh, this is something BC, but that's a red herring. They're trying to like obscure black people's history. Again, you know, they're trying to like say that, oh, there's no evidence of, you know, so you're telling me that 2,000 ships, like, because they had an expedition there, and they went and they came back and said that, oh, we know how to get there now. So it's like, that's why he went and got 2,000 ships, you know, to go there. So it's like, well, how are you saying that they weren't there? Of course, and they must have had some influence. And then you have the Olmec heads. That's the influence. And then you have the Aztecs, the Mayas, the Incas. So it's like they probably were involved in that. Most likely they were involved in that. So it's like, but they're trying to obscure it and say that, oh, black people didn't have it and do anything. So you can't believe anything that they say. But if you watch this, oh yes, and another thing, it's not only the Exodus that's that I'm saying that he's Moses. It's because there was the whole parting of the sea. Don't you find that it's just ridiculous to believe that the sea parted, everything like that? But it wasn't like that. It's because like there was a current that takes you straight to you know, the Central America. So there's a current that takes you straight to America. So it's like, well, it's a special section of water in the sea that takes you there. So it's like, that's in a sense parting of the sea. You understand? So that's where that comes from. Because where's this parting of the sea and they're going to the other side? It's like, what does that doesn't make any sense. But then when you study it, you start to realize, oh, that's where they got it from. Because that's the parting of the sea. Because that's when there's a conveyor belt, in a sense, that a rapid current that goes straight to the Americas, or Central America. And that's what he took. Okay, and there was an exodus. Okay, and then he went there, it was a new place, and then he had his problems, and whatever. But that's he is Moses. So the Israelites are African Muslims. They're African Muslims. They're not Jewish at all, and they have nothing to do with Palestine. I don't know. Something obviously went on in there, in that area. But what, as far as the Israelites, no, they're not the Israelites at all. They're absolutely not. They're fake. It's fake.
But no evidence has yet been found to suggest that Jerusalem was the centre of an empire in the 10th century. So the Bible's claim, indeed modern Israel's claim, that David united the northern and southern tribes into a fabulous empire ruled from his stronghold in Jerusalem, remains just that, a claim, nothing more.
So what we're looking at is a situation in which a whole nation of people, the Palestinians, have had their land taken over on the basis of an absolute historical lie.